So I'm on a mission to convince my manager that we really need a second channel. And so that's how I actually had this post on my community tab, and these were the results. And apparently a proportion of you guys would actually love a second channel, and some of you actually wanted a sample of what exactly the second channel is going to be about if we do make a second channel. So that's how I thought, these thoughts always come to me when I'm coming back from work. I don't know why. That's how I thought, maybe let me give these people a sample of what they can actually expect on the second channel, and maybe if I show my manager this, then we will be able to actually have a second channel, and we'll probably get more of such content on that second channel. So grab a piece of paper. In this case, just sit down and let's go. Hello and welcome to Q&A with Dr MK7. This is a sample video of what is in store if we do open a new channel. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon to be receiving notifications of such amazing content every time I post. Grab your piece of paper. I don't think you really need a paper for this video because it's going to be a Q&A video. So I've actually had a lot of questions that have been asked to me over the time by a lot of people. So I actually chose 10 questions that I'm going to answer on the channel. I'm going to add, I think, a bonus 2 or 3 bonus questions at the end of the sessions if we do have time and this video doesn't exceed longer than I actually expected. But these are 10 questions that a lot of people have asked me. More than one person, more than one individual has asked me, and I've actually wrote them down here on my piece of paper that I'm actually going to be looking at and reading to you guys and actually giving you the answer of these questions that people have been asking me on my socials, people have been asking me when they've met me on the wards, or wherever they have seen me. If they have seen me and they ask me a question and I haven't had enough time to actually answer their particular question, now is the time. If you have any more questions, please drop them in the comment section below. It really helps the channel, the growth, and you know that we're so close to 10,000 subscribers. So please keep sharing the channel and sharing the link so that we can reach out to more people and to Zambia and beyond, if you know what I mean. So beginning with question number 1, which was medicine always your passion? So I know I get this question quite a lot, and it's phrased in many different ways. It's like, did you initially want to study medicine? Have you always loved medicine? Did you plan to get into medicine? So a background story is that medicine actually wasn't my first choice. I know most of you are like, oh, really? It wasn't? Yes, it wasn't my first choice. So initially, actually, as a child, I've always wanted to be a pilot. I've always loved flying, as in how airplanes work, being able to fly an airplane, and that was always my dream as a child, to be a pilot and to fly around the world. When you're a child, you have these dreams and aspirations. There's a meme that I actually saw in grade 1. I want to be a pilot. You reach grade 7. I want to be a doctor. You reach grade 10. I want to be an engineer. You reach grade 12. And then eventually in university. Please share this post to other people and you have lost your dreams and aspirations. But that wasn't the case with me. So initially when I was growing up, I got exposed to a lot of television at a young age, and a lot of media at a quite young age. So I had to deal with a lot of computers, and oftentimes I would often be at home with my mother. By that time she was I think not so well and was scheduled for an operation. So I'd spend most of the times at home, and it would just be me and my mom, and I would probably be watching a lot of TV. So I used to watch a lot of programs and would see a lot of these plane crashes. As you're like scanning through the channels, and then you'd be like, oh, what's happening on this channel? And then you realize that there's a plane crash that has happened and such people have died. So having those notions in mind, they're like, you can die, say, you can die. That's how I was like, nah, I'm jumping ship. I don't want to be a pilot anymore. And the turning point in my life actually came when my mother had to go for an operation. That was way back. So she had to go for I think in retrospect now, that was like a hysterectomy. She had symptomatic fibroids. In retrospect, now that I actually have the information, as a child I had no idea what was going on. I just knew that my mother was going for operation. She could come back, she couldn't. So in that particular moment, you know, as a child, you're probably thinking maybe this could be the last time that you're actually seeing your mother. And that realism actually kicks in when your mother actually goes, and that night that you're spending at home and you're wondering and you're praying for your mother to survive. So it was at that particular moment, at that turning point, where I actually thought to myself, yeah, this is the moment when I actually really need to study medicine. And at this particular moment, that's how I thought to myself, yeah, well, why not? Medicine is fun. So medicine it's great, and here we are. Do I actually have some regrets? Stick around to actually the end of the video, because I do answer that question as my last question on this series of questions. So yeah, medicine wasn't really my first choice, and initially I wanted to be a pilot. In school, actually, I was very good at mathematics. Very good at computer science. And most people actually thought I would branch out into mathematics or branch out into science, but I actually found that super boring, because the threshold of things that you actually have to learn is very limited. Once you learn a formula, you apply it in different scenarios, and that's about it. The threshold of the things that you can learn is not so much. So moving on to question number 2. I hope, of course, we're going to keep this strictly PG, so if you are expecting any questions about the love life, you can forget about that. I'm not going to divulge that information. Maybe, who knows, I'm going to be answering 1 or 2 questions on my list of questions right here. But the second question is, are you from Zimbabwe? So this is very strange, because many people actually ask me if I'm either from South Africa. Some people ask me if I'm from Zimbabwe. Some people I've been asked if I'm from Malawi, and no one actually has asked me whether I'm Zambian or not. All they keep assuming is that I'm not Zambian. Why? Because I have different mannerisms to how Zambian indigenous people are. I speak differently. Even my local language is not as good, because yeah, growing up, I honestly didn't grow up from here in Zambia. I grew up in a different country. Then I left Zambia when I was actually very young, roughly at the age of 5 to 6, and then I spent most of my time in another country. I was in Botswana. That's where I did most of my primary education. I did my high school. I did my first year of A levels over there. That's when my parents actually retired and relocated back home. So you would find out that most of the times at home, everyone would actually relate to me in English, and English was actually the first language that I got to learn at home. And even the local languages like Nyanja, Bemba, we hardly ever spoke them. I only actually recently got to learn Nyanja, I think some good 7-8 years ago, but that's recent to me. In medicine, if you say 8 years ago, it's recent, guys. It's recent. So I recently got to learn Nyanja actually quite recently, about some 8 years ago. And as you can tell, when I speak Nyanja, it doesn't really sound like it's someone who's indigenous. So yes, I am actually from Zambia. I was born actually here and bred in another country. I don't know if that's what the saying actually means. I grew up in another country. So I was born in Zambia, grew up in another country, came back to Zambia, and Zambia is actually a beautiful place. Actually, if you actually compare between Botswana and Zambia, there are some striking differences that you can actually have of the different places. So in terms of Zambia is way much more friendly, and the people here are actually much more friendly than they are back in Botswana. They actually welcome you. You would actually feel like as if you are part of the group and you're part of everyone. Back in Botswana, it's a bit different. If you are not accustomed to the local language, it makes it a bit hard for you to actually fit in, because sometimes you find out that they're speaking in the local language, and if you don't know Setswana, then it's a bit hard for you to interact. It's a bit hard for you to actually make friends. So that's one striking difference. The other thing about Botswana is that I think in terms of advancement and development, I think Botswana is a much more advanced place than Zambia is, even though now Zambia has more advancements, more malls that are being built. But if you actually look at the rural places in Botswana, they're actually quite advanced compared to Zambia. But don't get me wrong, Zambia is actually a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. Get to tour the country, get to go to different places of the corner of the country. I visited the northern province, I visited the southern province, currently in Lusaka, and yeah, it's if you have time, go on, see the world, see the country in this case. So definitely I am Zambian, I was born here. And the third thing was, do you ever get shouted at by your seniors? I mean, you're MK, and this is one thing that a lot of people actually ask me, as do your seniors even worry when you're on the ward? Don't they just say, oh no, it's MK, he's got it, and then they leave? No, that's not the case. You know, being a doctor is very strange. You get to know that there are people that are way much more knowledgeable than you are. And I've met people that are way much more knowledgeable than I am. And to the point whereby I'm like, yo, this person is now even confusing me with my own data. Like, yo, being confused with your own data. And I'm just like, yeah. So, I do often get shouted at, maybe not often, but I have been shouted at for making certain mistakes. I have been scolded by seniors, but of course not to the point of being made to feel like as if you're useless. I don't think I have reached that point yet. If I ever reach that point yet, from the previous video that I showed you guys about intern slaps senior, don't be surprised if that's going to be me. But no, I've never really been put in such a position where I'm made to feel inferior or made to feel useless. Yes, I have made some mistakes, quite a lot of them actually. It's part of the learning process. During internship, you're bound to make mistakes. You're bound to actually do things that are not right, and you may mismanage some patients here and there. It's part of the learning process. Everyone makes a mistake. They say that, I don't know if you guys actually agree with this saying, they say that for you to actually be a true doctor, you should have killed someone at one point in your career. I don't know if you guys agree with that. I don't agree with that, and please don't hold me accountable to that. But do you guys agree with that? Like, comment in the section below. Of course, we are also trying to convince my manager that these videos are actually quite interactive and you guys are actually consuming this content and you guys actually like this content. So I really need you guys to actually give me some feedback on these type of videos. So yes, I actually have been shouted at by the seniors. There have been some seniors that I think initially when they met me, they didn't know about me, so they didn't like really trust me. But as I got to work with them and as I got to learn a bit more, then they got to actually know about my capabilities, and they would often trust me. So funny story. So I'm not going to mention which department I was in, but there was one time where my consultant actually came in. He brought a relative that was ill. I'm not going to divulge any information about anything else, but he brought a relative that was ill. So he came at the door, and we're sitting there like in the call room. He came to the door and then he looked, and then he was like wondering who's on call. Then he came and gave me the file. It was that moment that was like, yo, guys, I am goated. I'm only joking, but yeah, that actually legit did happen. And you know, it's such feelings that give you some reassurance that, okay, yeah, my consultant actually trusts me to the extent of seeing his relative, so that must be something. And I was under pressure, guys. I was even telling the students, I'm like, guys, I am under pressure right now. I have to actually take a proper history right now. I have to make a correct diagnosis, and I have to treat this patient very well because I'm dealing with my consultant. But yeah, you do experience such things as you actually go on in your medical career. It's actually quite weird when you get to see fellow doctors. It's very weird when you get to see fellow doctors' relatives. That's pressure that you actually don't need in your life. You do not need that pressure in your life. Okay, moving on to question number 4. What does the 7 stand for in MK7? So, when I initially was thinking about a name of how I'm going to actually call the channel, I thought of quite weird names because people actually ask me, where do you come up with these names? The ultimate bazooka, the atomic bomb, the master key, different literatures, the holy grail. Where do you come up with these things? And I always tell them that, you know, a name always has meaning and will determine the success of something. For example, I don't know if there's anyone in the subscriber account who has the name of Mavuto. Mavuto actually in local language means problems. So if you name your child Mavuto and you expect their life to go okay, then good luck. Because you name your child Mavuto and I don't think you're going to be expecting this child to have a good life. So names do have some connotation that is attached to them, and I actually sit down and think through everything that I release and think through, what can I call this? It has to be something that is intriguing. It has to be something that makes sense. So when I was thinking about the name of the channel and the brand that I'm going to give this channel, it's something that had to be quite short, something that I knew would stay in the minds of these people for quite some time, and something that is easy to share with. Like, for example, you're on the run and like, oh, I watched this from a YouTube channel. What's the name of the YouTube channel? Dr MK7, Dr MK7. Very quick to say, instead of saying no tutorial hub by Moses Kazero. Who's going to have the time to be saying that long thing? By the time you're saying tutorial hub, the person has already zoned out. So now the 7 in MK7 actually it's very simple. 7 is my lucky number. There are 7 days of the week. I'm a 7th-day Adventist, and of course I did medicine for 7 years, so that's where the 7 actually comes from. I know most of you will be like shocked to be like, that is so basic. I know it's basic. I know 7 days of the week, 7 years of medical school, 7 is my lucky number, 7th-day Adventist. So, and most of you are probably shocked. They're like, you're Adventist. Yes, I am Adventist. I know. Shocking to some of you. There are some people that have thought maybe this guy is Catholic. Some people have even gone to the extent of calling me an atheist. I don't know why. Maybe I give out such vibes, and many people have said, no, he's Pentecostal, those people that pray in tongues. I'm not going to go into that. So let's move on to question number 5. Question number 5 is a bit personal. So this is, I think someone was asking me, should I study medicine now in 2023? And I even looked at this person like, people that want to study medicine in 2023. You know, to come to think about it, there are people that are in grade 1 in 2023. Like that whole concept is very difficult to fathom. Like, why were you born late? Why? So should you actually study medicine in 2023? Should you? That's a personal question, really. But let me give you the pros and I'll give you the cons of why you should study medicine and why you shouldn't study medicine. Con of medicine: it's an intriguing career. There's no ceiling to what you actually can learn. That's a pro, not really con. Sorry, pro. There's no ceiling to what you can learn. The amount of information that you will learn is a lot. The amount of work that you have to do in medical school is a lot. So you never get bored. You always find something that is challenging. At the same time, that's a con, because medicine, guys, is not easy. Even though I get a lot of people telling me that, oh, thanks for the channel, it's been really helpful, it's been helping making medical school a bit easier, and you're welcome. Like, I've always been in medical school with the notion that I should make the pathway for someone who's coming before me easier than the pathway that I had. So yeah, the scope of things that you have to learn is deep, so you may sometimes find yourself easily drowning in the career. Another pro, this fly it's like this fly always is there when I'm recording. Another pro is that medicine comes with certain prestige. Guys, there's just this prestige of being referred to as a doctor. You know, especially when you complete it and you're young and you actually look young. Like for me, who's forever 23. I'm not going to tell you guys my age, but yeah, just know that I'm 23. I am 23, okay? 23, the year of the Jordan. So, medicine comes with this certain type of prestige. When you tell people that you're a doctor, it means that the respect that they'll give you, even in family meetings, like in family gatherings, they'll allow you to talk. Even though you may be young, they'll allow you to talk because they deem you to be at a certain different level compared to the other people. Of course, if you haven't studied medicine, and moreover if you're broke, every time you talk, you look like as if you're the one who's bringing confusion in the family meetings. Even if you just sneeze, he has started already. That's how they're probably going to be treating you. But once you study medicine, they'll even say, once you say, people will just be like, yes, I get your point, sir. This is exactly what I've been talking about. And they'll always side with you. So it comes with this prestige, and it comes with this nobility that you have to carry with. And not only that, it comes with this job satisfaction. You know, I've seen a lot of patients that are on the brink of death, guys, when you can see that this person is about to kick the bucket, and you do something for the patient survives, and they improve remarkably. And in the back of your mind, you're like, yo, this patient actually improved quite markedly. So that's one good thing, and it actually does legit make your days. It's happened to me in pediatrics, it's happened to me in obstetrics, it's happened to me in internal medicine, it's happened to me in surgery. Once you help a patient and they come back, you even get surprised, like, yo, you are the patient, you were almost dying, like I saw your life flash before your eyes. Like, you know how when they are supposed to see their life flash before their eyes, but I'm the one who's seeing their life flash before their eyes. I literally saw. So it has this job satisfaction that is there. The con is that I don't think it's worth the money that they talk about. I don't think it's worth the money. The amount of sacrifice that you make in medicine. I know people are thinking that doctors are swimming in money. They, of course, as a doctor, you will have a comfortable life, and I think you will have the basic needs that you need to survive. That's if you manage to get employed. You will have the basic needs. But don't get me wrong, doctors are not rich people. No, there is no money. I'm always telling you on the channel, in terms of money, we have none. So in terms of medicine, the sacrifice that you actually make, the overtime that you do sometimes, the dealing with uncooperative patients, getting insulted, having arguments with colleagues, it's not worth it. The only thing that makes the career worth it is actually you helping the patients and the patients getting better. But in terms of you, if you're getting into it for monetary purposes, yeah, you're probably going to be disappointed. So I think those are like two important pros and two important cons. You can actually weigh it on your own. I'm not going to give you a final answer as to whether you should study medicine in 2023, because I think it's not up to me for me to decide that go study medicine. You end up regretting it. There are some people that have gone 7 years, they started doing internship, then they realized, nope, this is not for me. So I don't want it to be that particular scenario. So moving on to question number 6. Which university do you think is the best, or should I go to? You guys want to get me beaten. I have seen you guys want to get me beaten. So in terms of universities, that's again another sensitive topic, because I know that one I think I'm not going to answer, because I may tell you, no, go to Ridgeway, and then you go to Ridgeway and you find out that it's a disaster. Then you come and tell me, no, the university that you recommended me to go to is a disaster. I may tell you go to Apex, then you realize, Apex, you see what you've gotten me into. I may tell you go to Levi Mwanawasa University. Then all universities have their pros and cons, but of course this channel is not to advertise any particular university. I am not affiliated to advertising any particular university. That's why I actually strictly am not going to answer that question, and I would just simply say please consult with other people that have gone to these particular universities and ask them what is good about the universities, what is bad about the universities, then make an informed decision. Also look at their teaching styles, their syllabuses. What's the plural of syllabus? Syllabi? I think it's syllabi. Their syllabi, and also look at their fee structure, how well organized the administration is. Those are things that you should consider when going to a specific medical university. And of course, there are now a lot of medical universities, over 9 medical universities if I'm not mistaken in the country. So you have a wide variety of choice that you have to choose. But of course, each of those universities has some pros and some cons that you actually have to have a look at. Then question 7. where do you find the time to do all that you do? I posted on my socials recently. I'm like, guys, 24 hours is starting to become very little, like very little, because I'm running out of time. I can't do what I used to do in 24 hours, then it fits. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's because of the fatigue that has accumulated from work and the rotation that I'm currently in. But where do I get the time? So it's all about time management, guys. And the biggest advantage that I've always had in medical school, even I think during work, the biggest advantage that I've always had is that I come from home. That's the biggest advantage. I think that's the only advantage that I could say that I have. Coming from home. What do I mean? If you come from home, there are people that are going to do the chores for you. Of course, maybe it's different over the weekends. There are people that are going to help you cook, and you don't necessarily get home enough to worry about cooking. No, I don't have to do that. Like, I don't do that here. I'm not going to make the same joke twice of we don't do that here. But I don't do that here. So I think that was one of the biggest things, such that I'd actually get home, I find the chores already done, the meal's already cooked, and all I have to do is probably study, or probably read a book, or write a book, or go out to do something, who knows. So and another thing that I had this strict time management. I had things that were done at specific time intervals, and I wouldn't either overlap or overshoot. I wouldn't overdo any single thing. Of course, don't get me wrong, I wasn't immersed in books all the time and studying and all the time just making your life all about books. No. Many people actually, I was very shocked this other time when I actually met one of my students. There was a new crop of students that I was actually teaching, and they were actually even surprised that you joke around, you even laugh. We thought that you never laugh. We thought that you're always serious and you're all about books. No, guys, I do laugh. I do make a lot of jokes. I'm the goofiest person that you can actually meet. If you meet me in public, yes, you think that I'm as serious as a pile of bricks. But if you actually get to know me, I'm quite goofy, and I'm sure most of you that really, really know me, not just those people that say, no, I know him, and you only know me like from the books, or maybe know me from the YouTube channel. No, not like that. Not like that. I mean, when you personally know me, then you would actually know that I actually have time for quite a lot of things. So strict time management is what actually helped me, and actually the biggest thing was coming from home. Then question 8, which is actually linked to question 7, do you have a life outside studying and books? So I'm sure most of you are wondering, does this guy have a life? All the time he's talking about his YouTube channel and his socials, making videos, posting videos, teaching students on the words, talking about Lex exams, of course, which are coming soon. Good luck to anyone who's writing Lex exams. I know you're going to ace it. If you've gone through the channel, it's probably going to be like, that's all you got? Is that everything you got? Okay, quite easy. So I know that you guys are going to do so well. Yes, I do have time actually for other things. Going out with friends, going to watch movies. I'm a big movie fanatic. Watching series, video games, anything that a typical person could, a typical 23-year-old would actually be into. I'm probably into, and music actually. I do a lot of music. Actually, I write music and produce music, and I've actually done quite a number of songs, and people are actually surprised. I'm like, why don't you release your music out there? This is why we need a second YouTube channel, don't you think? So yeah, I do have a life outside books and outside doing all these things. I just want to give you guys some insight of what's happening in my life and everything that's going on. That's why we also want to start the second YouTube channel, and I think there's a lot of ideas that I actually have planned for you guys. Then question number 9, what inspired you to start this YouTube channel? What actually inspired me to start this YouTube channel? I think it's the money, guys. I'm just joking. It's not the money. So the YouTube channel actually started a few days before my birthday. I think that was on June 1. I actually had this channel for quite some time. I had it from 2014 if I'm not mistaken, but it was never active from 2014. I think I wanted it to be about music because I posted 2 videos about beat making, and they did so poorly and they were badly done. They were cringe. I even just had to take them down. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to allow you guys to see this. I'm taking this down. So eventually, after some years, when I actually graduated from medical school, I got the courage. I follow a lot of doctors that are on YouTube. I follow Dr. Mike. He's actually quite good. I also followed some local YouTube guys that were like in other fields. There's another guy that was doing things about I like to watch random things on YouTube. I was watching about how to set up a PayPal account in Zambia. So this guy's name, I think, is Jones Mbulo, if I'm not mistaken. So he's one of the people that actually pushed me or kickstarted me into actually getting into this whole YouTube full time. I actually even watched a lot of other YouTubers that actually had their channels monetized, and that was for a moment in time. I actually had that dream that, will I ever get monetized? Will I ever reach this point where these people are? I used to see their channels, they have 4,000 subscribers, 7,000 subscribers, and I just had my 3 subscribers. I was like, will I ever reach this moment? Then I actually decided to start, and I made the very first video, which I think was on rheumatic fever. And within the 24 hours, within a day, I actually had reached 100 subscribers, and I was amazed. 100 subscribers at that moment in time felt like a good achievement. I felt like, yo, I'm winning. I'm really winning. And I never thought that the channel would actually reach the point where it has reached today so quickly. Looking at the trajectory of the channel, started off 3 subscribers, 19 subscribers, eventually jumped to 100. Then it went quickly. We started climbing now, 200, 300, 400, and I was really looking forward to reaching 1K. I remember I even told my manager that I'm not going to sleep until I reach 1K subscribers. Then I finally reached 1K subscribers, and I thought, will it be possible for me to actually reach 10K subscribers? Yeah, then eventually we are so close to 10K subscribers. We're actually so close to 9,000 subscribers. I think we should be left, by the time I was recording this video, we should be left with only 40 people to reach 9,000 subscribers, and then that will be the countdown to 10,000 subscribers. At this moment in time, the next milestone that I'll be looking forward to is probably 25,000 subscribers. So if we can get to that by next year, you guys are going to make my year. And if we can possibly reach 50,000 subscribers, do you guys think we can reach 50,000 subscribers? You think it's possible? Maybe, who knows? So that's what was behind me starting the YouTube channel and all that. I actually saw my friends that were doing it. I'm like, they're doing it. Why am I waiting? Who am I waiting for? I want to do this. Let me do this. And I actually got to do it. Then the last and the final question, which is actually I left the best for last, is, do you have any regrets about your career? So this is a quite interesting question, and I do have some regrets actually. I do have some regrets. One regret that I had is I actually wish I had spent more time on the ward in certain rotations, and rotation like obstetrics and gynecology. I wish as a student I had spent much more time, especially in obstetrics, much more time on the ward. Like I got to learn a lot of things firsthand when I'm on the job, like learning on the job, and I was a bit anxious. Even though people are like, but you're doing okay. Hey, who knows? Maybe I'm drowning secretly. But I wish I'd actually spent much more time on the wards, and I shouldn't have been really over-invested in just acquiring the theory knowledge, because I should have actually also had a hint of the practical aspect, more of the practical aspect in say. But I can't really blame myself because of how the program was in our university and how limited it was, and Obs and Gyn was always my last rotation. So that's the only regret that I actually have, spending much more time on the ward. And before we leave, I promise you guys a bonus question, and the bonus question is, who is always opening the door in your videos? I know people are always wondering. There's always a creaking of the door when I'm ever recording a video. Is probably either my sister or my niece. So if there are people to blame for the creaking of the door, those 2 people, either my sister or my niece. And that is indeed everything that I had for you today on Q&A with Dr. MK7. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell notification icon so you never miss on such amazing content every time I post. And don't forget, if you really want a second YouTube channel, comment, give us Iwe. Give us a second YouTube channel Iwe in the comment section below. I will make sure to tag my manager and to show my manager about this video. Until next time, to Zambia and beyond, my name is Dr. Moses Kazevu.